Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I wanted to give you guys just a full guide on how to apply to Hagwons. So some people want to go the public route, some people want to go the private route. So for those watching who want to go the private route, I'm your girl. I already have this whole list on my blog, so if you'd rather read than watch, I'll put that down in the description below. But for those who are like me, who sometimes just want to watch videos, we don't really want to read, I decided to make this video too. So I'm just going to go over all the steps that you'll need to teach at a Hagwon. The first step, you need to make sure your passport is ready. So I put this as the first step because it takes almost up to 12 weeks, at least here in the United States, to even get your passport processed, and then even a week and a half after that to get it mailed back to you. So in my case, I applied in July and I just now got mine last week in the end of October, literally October 31st. So I think I applied July 15th. So if that gives you any idea about how long it takes a long time. If you are in the United States, you will need your passport book and not the card. The card only lets you travel to the United States and Canada and Mexico, so you will need the full passport book to travel to South Korea. I only have the card, so my experience is just upgrading to the book, but I have been told it can take even longer if you've never had a passport before, only because it's just a longer process to register you in the system rather than just upgrading you and updating your passport. So definitely the first thing you want to do is get your passport in order. You can get your passport photos taken at Walgreens. I think you can also get them taken at CVS, and obviously at the post office, which is where I got mine taken. So you can even look where to apply to a passport near you up on Google. It'll just depend on where you live. So step 2 is getting your documents ready, and by documents I mean you're going to need your background check, and you're going to need to have your diploma apostilled, and depending on where you live, you may need more documents or you may need less documents. So for the United States, you have to have your diploma apostilled at the state level, not the federal level. And people get this confused because your criminal background check or your criminal record check, CRC is what it's actually called, it has to be apostilled at the US State Department level, which actually means the federal level. I don't know why they didn't just call it the federal level, but that's what it does. So what I did for my diploma is I went through Monument Visa, which is a website I'll link down below. There are a couple websites actually I'll link down just so you have an option. But basically they just need you to scan in your diploma and you upload it to their website, and you just check out, pay for it, they have it apostilled with a notary, and then they mail it back to you. So don't send them your actual diploma. Never send your actual diploma, that's yours. Do not send your actual diploma, send a copy. And that's all you need to do for the diploma apostilling. For the criminal background check, there are a couple options you can do. Obviously first you have to get your fingerprints done to have the background check done. So you can get that done at your local police department. Some fire departments do it, and then you can go through a third party, which for me, I went through the third party because when I first started this process, everything was closed here in Kentucky because of COVID. So you couldn't go in and get your fingerprints done at the police station. It was only for emergency situations. So I went through a company called Fieldprint, and basically you just go in. There is this little fingerprint reader and you put your fingers on it, and it just like scans your fingerprints digitally, and then it does the background check. So in my case, I got my background record sent to my email, I think it was an hour and a half after I had the fingerprinting done, so it's really quick. But when you go through this third party, you have to get it apostilled afterwards separately. So I also went through Monument Visa, just like I did my diploma, and if you do them both at the same time, you actually get, I think, like $5 off. At least that's how it was when I did it. If you decide to go directly through the FBI, it takes a little longer at the beginning, but in the end it's a little bit quicker because They do the fingerprinting and notarize it for you all in one place instead of sending it off, like going between 2 different places. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. But for me, especially since I don't really have any other places to go here where I live in Kentucky, Monument Visa and Fieldprint both worked out pretty great for me. I would also just suggest that you order a couple of sealed transcripts, only because some schools will ask for them and some won't. It's better just to be prepared at the get-go than have to wait even a couple more weeks, because the more you wait, the more things get delayed, basically. If you live in Canada, apostling isn't available in Canada, so you would have to take your documents straight to the Korean embassy or consulate that's closest to you. I'll have links to find out where that is down below as well, but you can't get things apostoled, so you'll have to take even your background check to the Korean embassy once you get it done. You'll also do this for both your criminal background check and your diploma, but the good thing for you guys is the fingerprinting and background check can both be done at your local police station, so you don't have to worry about going to 2 or 3 different places to get it all done. You just have to go all the way to the embassy or consulate to get it done. I'm sorry. Also to note, if you live in Quebec or somewhere where English isn't frequently spoken as the first language, you have to get proof that you were taught in English for your education. So just be thinking about that too as well. If you can, get a letter from your school with the school's letterhead, and it has to have an ink signature. The next step is getting your resume in shape. So this isn't technically a requirement, but for me, it changed how many schools were offering me interviews by like day and night. So at first I was only getting like a couple, and then once I changed up my resume to the way I'm about to tell you how to do it, I think in one day I had 5 interviews scheduled. So it really changes how it works, because most Korean resumes, at least from what I've researched, all are laid out the same way. Normally on Korean resumes, your work experience is first and then your education is second. So on your work experience, the first thing you want to put on that work experience is your teaching experience. So for me, I just had tutoring experience, so that's the first thing I put. And then I put my most recent work experience. Including the teaching experience, I only had 3 things listed, but you can feel free to list as much as you want to. The main tip I would say is to try to keep your entire resume to 1 page, simply because it's easier just to look at 1 page than for someone to flip through and read all of your history. They're going through many applicants and they don't really have the time for that, so keep it to 1 page. I would also recommend putting a little picture of yourself up in the top corner. I'll show you a picture of my resume here. A lot of Korean resumes have their pictures on their resumes, and not that this is a requirement, but I had at least 3 different interviewers say, oh yeah, I picked your resume out specifically because I saw you had red hair. So it helps them to pick you out better from a stack of people, because they know what you look like. So the better of a picture you can put on there, the better you'll do. The drawback of putting your picture on your resume is if you don't look like a normal English speaker. And what I mean by that is a lot of schools have been turning down teachers that don't look like they're from an English-speaking country. So if you look Asian, they're more likely to turn you down because discrimination. Also, obviously, make sure to include your contact information. I always put my email address and my phone number up at the top and at the bottom, so once they get reading, they don't have to look back up at the top to find out how to contact me. That's just sort of more about like a design hierarchy that a lot of people might not think about, but it's important to include too. In your education section, make sure you include your TOEFL certification, so put TOEFL certified and then the school you went to get your certification, how many hours it took you to get your certification, and when you were certified. So once you get all this done, the next step is to start applying to schools. So some people like to apply directly, which is totally fine. In my experience, I like using recruiters only because personally I liked working with a recruiter because I didn't have to spend hours hunting down jobs. They just sent them to me and set up interviews. So depending on how much time you want to invest in finding a school, you can choose to go directly or you can choose to go through a recruiter. If you choose directly, there are a couple job board websites that you can go to. Dave's ESL is one big one. But I will put the links down in the description too, so that way you can look through and choose different things. If you decide to go the recruitment route, be direct when you send them an email, because they're trying to set you up with a school that matches you. So when you first send your email to a recruiter, I would recommend being as specific as possible. For me, I put my name, my age, what country I was from, and the location I wanted to teach in, the age group that I wanted to teach, and some of my interests, because there are different types of Hagwons out there. So some are more focused on learning through play, some are more focused on learning through music and art, and some are more focused on learning traditionally. So depending on your interest and what you're looking for, they can help set you up with a good position. When you send your email to the recruiter, also include your resume and a separate copy of your picture. If you don't send this, they'll ask for it anyway, so you might as well just attach it and send it along with your email to them initially. Okay, so that is it for this video. I will be doing a second part with interview tips and questions, but for now, this should at least get you started, and I will see you next time. Thank you.